And the reason why we bring it up, that the unsub is possibly former military and possibly former law enforcement, is because the unsub left very few clues at the crime scene. Very few. And this type of crime, to actually use a longer blade knife and do it successfully with very few clues or anything like that, indicates that the unsub probably has some kind of training with knives. And this was probably not his first rodeo doing something like that. As much as some people want to have the presumption that anyone could have done this because all it takes is a little slash on 4 people and there you go. No, that's not as simple as what it is, of course, as you may know, because it takes a lot of nerve, a lot of courage in a really bad, evil way to do those crimes. A very bad person who has a lot of experience in similar situations as that. That's the type of person who would do that type of crime. And to do it and to get away with it, even for as long as he has gotten away with it, and to leave so few clues, the person is probably experienced at this. This type of crime is not a first-timer's crime. It's not someone who's like, I just never did anything before I decided to do this big thing. Yeah, right. That's not what happens. The person is clearly quite experienced at this. And I've mentioned in prior videos and podcasts that it's quite possible that the unsub is a hitman. If it's not a hitman, it's probably someone along the lines of a stalker or serial killer-esque. Someone who's done these types of crimes more often. And even though the police department's looking into, Kaylee having a stalker or not a stalker, and they basically came to the conclusion that, we don't really think it was a stalker because that one stalker incident, the guy was just following her because he wanted her number and that kind of thing. Here's the problem with that. How do you confirm how many stalkers Kaylee had? How do you do that? It's nearly impossible to actually confirm that. If someone's just lurking behind her, or she feels that someone's watching her, how does the police confirm or deny that? You can't. So I guess what I'm saying is that this sure seems to be someone who's been stalking her. She seems to have been targeted quite significantly, and it does appear to be someone who has some experience in these types of crimes, at least. This does not appear to be this unsub's first rodeo at all. And we'll see what happens with Mr. Hoodie Guy, right? But here's the problem that I think police really need to tackle. And specifically, it is telling the public generally how they are ruling these people out. So if you ruled out Mr. Hoodie Guy, you have to tell people how you ruled them out. Otherwise, people are going to think, hey, maybe he had something to do with this. So I would say to the police, give some general idea to the public what's going on, of how you're ruling people out, so you can focus the public on what really matters. So people don't naturally start thinking like, they just rule people out because they don't even know what they're doing. Well, maybe they do know what they're doing. And if you do know what you're doing, tell people generally how you're ruling people out. How are you doing this? Did you see video footage? Did 5 people corroborate his story and were able to confirm that he was where he said he was at 4 a.m.? Come on. And then, as some of you know, the body camera footage of a police officer giving tickets to college students for underage drinking just a few hundred feet away from where the crimes were taking place that very moment was released. And if you didn't see that footage, it's on my second channel. But in that footage, it's just really sad to see. It's really, really sad, because what you're seeing is basically a police officer standing a few hundred feet away from where the crime was taking place, and the video footage of that moment of him just giving underage drinking tickets to some of these college kids while someone was committing the crime of the century, so to speak, 100 feet away from where he stood. Is that a complete coincidence? Or maybe those people that were drinking and were causing a disturbance, maybe they were somehow involved or saw something. I mean, there's so many questions that could be answered by just talking to people. And, with this police department, it's kind of hard to really have a lot of confidence in their ability to ask the right questions and question appropriately to get the necessary answers that could be out there. And I think a lot of you are feeling that as well. Here's another thing to think about. I hope those police officers are cleared too, and actually cleared, and not just, oh, he's a police officer, he couldn't have done it. No, everyone in that area that could have possibly have done it, including police officers, need to be looked into. You know, I think especially in a crime like this, that they need to specifically look into police officers because it appears to be someone who seems to know what he's doing. It does not appear to be a novice at all. And many times police officers not only have law enforcement training, but also many times we're in the military too. I'm not saying anyone necessarily did anything, but I'm just saying that I hope everyone is being looked at and cleared appropriately, including even the police officers, specifically the police officers that were known to be around that area as well. Very important. I think no one should be overlooked at all.